So it's like if you come to level 0 here, I don't know if I've talked about SSH before, but no problem, I'll talk about SSH. So SSH is actually a command for they call it secure shell. It was summarized into secured and shell. So it's a command that gives you remote shell access, not GUI like this. Like it will make you to be able to run commands on a remote system like this. So let's imagine now you have set up Kali Linux on your system now, which you have, and then you want me to have access to your system, but you don't want me to have the GUI access. Like you don't want me to have this GUI access, just like RDP. So you don't want me to have access to the GUI, but you want me to have access to only this command line. What you can do is set up an SSH server, and once you set up that SSH server, you give me your IP address and your system password. Then I will be able to connect to your system shell. I will not be able to see GUI, but I will be able to run commands on your system like this remotely. So what we are trying to do here now is to log in onto this bandit system via SSH. You can see the goal of this level is for you to log in into the game using SSH. So the command we normally use for SSH is also SSH, just SSH like this, and then the host to which you need to connect to. You're going to copy this host here. So once you copy that, you paste it on the terminal also, and then on port 2220. Now, in case you don't know how port 2220 is or how to specify a port, we are not just going to paste in the port like that. I'm going to launch a new Alacrity instance, and what I'm going to do here is show you what the option that SSH has. So if you check here now, you can see that SSH has a -p tag to specify port. Can you see this -p tag? It said -p then port, and you can see that they said usage is equals to SSH bind address then port or destination -g to specify destination or -w. But generally, how we use SSH is to specify SSH, the connection we want to make, that's the IP address or domain name, then on port 2220, so we'll copy this and then we'll just specify -p, small letter p, and then paste port 220 there. The username is bandit0, so we'll copy bandit0 like this, and then we're going to move backwards, and now we are going to put a @ here. You have to put an @ there first, then you come to the front and paste in that bandit0 you copied. Then now what we are doing here is we are connecting to bandit.labs.overthewire.org, which is our target, and we are logging in as user bandit0. That is the present user we want to log into on port 2220. This is very important. So now if I hit enter now, I'm going to get a connection here, and you can see once login, okay, they said the password is bandit0, so we're going to copy this because we are going to ask for a password. Can you see? We ask for a password, so you can just paste that in, hit enter, and you can see once logged in, go to the level 1 page to find out how to beat level 1. So now you can see that we are greeted with these messages, tips. It's actually good to read most of this stuff here, very, very important. So what we can do here is come here, I'm going to clear this, and then I'm going to run ls. I'm also going to run pwd to see where I am. You can see I'm home bandit0, which is my home page. Go to the level 1 page to find out how to beat level 1. So we need to move to level 0 to 1 here, which is actually to find out how to beat level 1. So you can see they said a password for the next level is stored in a file called readme, and that's actually true because we have readme here when we run ls. And they said it is actually stored in the home directory. Use this password to log in into bandit1 using SSH. So what we can do now is we can just cut out readme. It's as simple as that. And now we have the password for the next user. You can see that we have a password for this. Use the password to log into bandit 1 using SSH. Whenever you find a password for a level, use SSH on port 2220 to log into that level and continue the game. Now there are two ways to do this, although I've not tried out one way. You can actually switch user to bandit 1. Let's see if that works. And then just paste in the password. And okay, I type in the right thing. Okay, use this password to log into bandit 1. Switch user bandit 1. This is actually the password. I'm right. And here. Okay, so definitely we need to exit out of this section. That's one way. SU stands for switch user. So we are trying to switch user to bandit 1. Why? Because bandit 1, if I do ls/home, bandit 1 literally exists here. You can see bandit 1 exists here. Bandit 1 has an home directory. So that's what I'm trying to do there. So now I want to exit out of this section. Sorry, just hit exit and you will exit. Can you see I'm back to my normal shell? And now I can just hit the up arrow key on my keyboard, like 1 2, to go back to the command I have here, and I'll just change it to bandit 1 instead of bandit 0, and then I'll just paste in the password we got earlier, and then we are logged in as bandit 1. So definitely we don't have permissions to read so you switch user maybe when we did bandit 1. So level 1 to level 2, you can see here, you go to the next page, you see the password for the next level is stored in a file called dash located in the home directory. Now I think there are a few ways to read this, because if I run ls-la, that's to specify what files I have here. You can see that we have a file called dash here. You can see it's dash. But if you try to cut out dash, if you check the last class I talked about concatenating the output of files, if you try to cut out dash the same way we cut out readme the other time, can you see that our shell hangs here? We don't get any output instead of it to give us this shell back whereby we can run commands. Now I want us to experiment this. I want us to try the more command. Can you see more is an alternative command to cut? So you can see more works. Let's use less. Less doesn't work, but more work. You can see that more actually works there. And then we have an hanging shell. So literally my shell just hang right now. So I don't know, it's bro. Okay, so literally my shell just hanged. So let me just log in again, close that section and log in again. So pressing that password. So you can see that the less command doesn't work also, but more literally works. Let's try to use head. Head, then dash. You can see the head command does not work. Let's try to use tail also. Tail command too does not work. So definitely more literally works. More actually gives us more of what is inside that file, and less give us less of what is inside our file. So we can use the more command followed by dash to check what's inside the file. Let me run ls again. Now there's another way to actually do this. We can try to use strings. Let's see if we have strings. Okay, strings tells us you cannot actually do that. Okay, let's try to put this into single quote and see. C does not work. Or is it strings? It's string, not strings, it's string. Yeah, we can use strings command. Okay, let's specify the full part. We'll just do strings slash home slash bandit1 then slash dash. You can see that strings literally works also. Strings also work. Now my last way is to actually do output redirection. So output redirection, we can use this greater than sign, less than sign here, and then we have this. The cat command I couldn't provide output then. You can see that it provided an output now. And the reason is output redirection. You are telling cat that I want to send this file called dash to you. So whatever is inside, just give it to me back. That's what you're doing there. Same as strings, you can do the same thing to strings. Let me see if that even works. And you can see strings. You can do the same thing to let's see, head that couldn't work then. Can you see? Tail that couldn't work then. Let's see if it works. And you can see they all provide outputs. That's what we call output redirection. So let's just copy this now, and it has been copied successfully. I'll just hit exit again, and then now I'll go back to this page, and now we are going from level 2 to level 3, right? So we have to change this to level 2, but that will be bandit 2. Change it to bandit 2 and use the password you got to log in. Okay, so I've logged in, and you can see now the password for the next level is stored in a file called spaces in this file name located in the home directory. So what we can do here is we can ls, I can see spaces in this file name. You can actually use cat and then just do spaces in this file name like that, or you can actually just do cat then put this here and say spaces in this file name, then hit enter, and you can see we have this. Yeah, that's right. And you can see we have this. So this is actually, that's just what you need to know for that. You can either use cat like this in spaces. Initially I usually put this by myself in this. Make sure to put this stuff in every place you see there. So now I can copy the next password, and then I can just exit out of this section. So the next thing is to do is switch to bandit 3. It actually gives you efficient in different Linux command, and the more you advance, the more you get to understand things. So definitely now we're moving from bandits level 3 to level 4. I'll actually cover to level 7, then I want you to actually check it right up. I'll give you a write up that you can actually follow in order to move. So the password of the next level is stored in an hidden file in the in-here directory. So now if I clear my screen, they said the file is hidden, right? And you can see we have ls in here, and like I said, if you want to check what kind of file is in here, you can just use file, then in here you can see in here is a directory. So now we can cd to the directory which is called in here, and then if I run ls, you can see that we don't get any output. But if I run ls-la, which shows me hidden file, you can see .hidden there. So if I cut out .hidden, now, yeah, this is see, if I cut out the hidden, sorry about that. So if I cut out the hidden here now, just add the dot sign here. You can see that I have the password for the next guy here. Initially what we are looking for is the password for the next user, and we have actually found that already. So I can just clear my screen now, and then I can just exit. So the next thing as usual is to change to bandit 4, and then just paste in my password here that I got previously. And now I'm going to move to level 4 because I'm going to level 5. The password for the next level is stored in the human readable file in the in-here directory. Tip: if your terminal is messed up, try the reset command. So you can actually try the reset command if your terminal is messed up, just like that. It's gonna reset your terminal for you. So definitely what you can do in here, human readable, is you can, okay, they said it's stored, the password is stored in the only human readable file in the in here directory. So let's run ls here and see. So we still have in here, we can switch to in here, run ls, and you can see that we have a lot of files here. So it's not proper for us to actually go through all those files, but what we can do is just run ls-r, and then we'll just specify all. Okay, ls. I want to run recursive. Stored in the only human readable file in the wait. Let me use the file command. Okay. So let me cut out that file. Oh, sorry about that. File. Let me see 00 and see if it's actually a normal file. Okay. Same thing I need to do there is to actually run print working directory. I'm going to copy this, and then I just want to know if this is actually a file. I will just add a slash there, dash file. Let me see 0. It says data. Great. So let me try to cut that out and see if it works. Okay, so what we can do here now is instead of doing that, we can just add an asterisk here. Okay, and you can see that we have something looking like a password here. Can you see this? So definitely, I think if it is not, we can just copy this like this. If it's not a password for the next user, then we can just do our thing. So I'll hit Ctrl+C there. I'm going to clear and exit, and let me see what happens. So let me see valid 5. Start with valid 5 there, and then paste in our password there. See if the password works. Now the password did not work. That's because we got an error because definitely we are using the password, and then the password we got that time won't work. So let's log in as bandit 4 again, and then let's go to that in here directory we found, run ls. So we're going to say ls-la, the same way of what we actually did that time. So let's print working directory. I'm going to copy all of this, and now we are going to actually run ls-la on all those files, add slash. So this will actually perform, it will list all hidden files, and it will give us more information on those files. So they said, what did they say? They said the password necessary is stored in the only human readable file. Human readable file in the in-here directory. Human readable file. Definitely, all these are actually human readable. But if you make a quick Google search on human readable files, or how to check human readable files in Linux, just make sure to be precise. You can actually file human readable files, and you can actually see that you can see here that you have got an option here. Can you see this? You can see that we have an option here. So if you copy this option, yes, you can use find to look for non-executable files on the right side, and then use fast to check for issue. So what we can do now is just paste in that command, and let's see, does not work. Okay, let's find any other one. We'll only find from one for the sake. So let's try this one also. See, doesn't work, and the reason is because we need to specify slash. Let's see if we specify the full part, and then we just say slash. See, doesn't work. Okay, let's add an asterisk there. See, doesn't work. Great. So find. Okay, let's see this, if this one works. This one still doesn't work also. Okay. 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 Okay, it's actually looking like still the same challenge we were given. Well, it's not bad to check it right up. So definitely not just to waste your time. What we can do is ls, and then we can go through all these files one by one. How do we go through these files? We can write a for or while loop, like while true, like what we actually did. Then let me see if I can still find that command that we used to check. Yeah, so we can just say while true, right? So we'll just put this in a new line, and then we'll just say do. Now what this is actually doing is we are creating a while loop in bash. While is actually a loop saying while true, do this particular command. So instead of ls-la, we'll change it to cat. So now it's gonna cat them one by one, like one by one in a new line. Okay, let me just say okay, let me just say something like file no dash file sudo dash. Okay, you cannot add a comma. Okay, what about asterisk? Or what about strings? Yeah, strings might actually work. Just messed up my terminal. Okay, so what about strings might actually work. Let's see strings. So it's gonna separate. I want it to separate everything in a new line. Okay, I'll just hit Ctrl C here. It's okay. Ctrl C. So you can just hit Ctrl C to actually stop that, and we can just try to copy this. Let's see if this works. LR, the first one here. Let's see if it works. So we'll just exit, and then let's hit bandit 5. So we'll see if this one works. And you can see it work. So you can see right there that we've gotten what we want to do. So definitely you know the command. The command is actually while true, like so it's meant to be page up down. Okay, maybe because I'm actually using. Let's scroll up. Oh, it's not meant to take this much. That command did a lot. We could have just specified a for loop saying okay, stop at this minute. Okay. So there's also another way to do this. We can exit from this section and switch to bandit 4. Where's the password we had that time? It says the password for bandit 4. Yeah. Great. So I'm going to cd it to the in here directory, and I can use for a for loop for I in you can just say in I can just say put this here, and I just say sequence of maybe 1 to 2, so it's gonna do it 2 times. So we'll add that there. This is actually like bash. It's actually bash coding, like you're trying to code in bash. So we are defining a loop here saying for I, that means assign the value I in this sequence. That means let me put this here. So what this is going to actually do, it's actually going to define a value I equals to 1, then I equals to 2. So now it's gonna give us output twice. Then the next thing we can actually do now is we'll add this, and then we'll say do. So do is where we'll assign the value I to, and then we'll do okay, we'll say do okay strings, then we'll paste in that guiding and rename it to I. So let me just say it's definitely a while loop. We have to use a while loop. But generally the password should be in file 7. Let me see, should be in file 7 cat /home /bandits and bandits 4 /in here /file 07. Yeah, so the password should be in file 07. That's literally where it is, because I counted that line from file 01, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. So you can just copy that and then exit, or do it the other way I did it using a while loop then. So if I do SSH and then switch to bandit 5 now, that should actually work for me. Yeah, that should work for me. So the next guy is level 4 to level 5, right? We choose level 5 to level 6. So things are just like getting more taxing. The more you move, the more you move. So like they said, the password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in-here directory and has all of the following properties. Now this is where bandit is getting literally hard, like it's going more hard, and you're still going to level 34. So what I literally used to advise is get a walkthrough. A walkthrough is the way. If you do bandit war games write up on Google, you can actually see I have this one here. So there is someone out there that I've actually compiled. You can see bandit 00 solution, bandit 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, and the same bandit 04 we were struggling with. You can see that somebody literally showed you how to solve it here. Simple. And literally just like this, you can see the way they actually solved theirs here. File, and they specify what kind of file you want. Specified it here. So here we use the file command with the wildcard on the file name to find the file containing only a sheet text. So bandit 05 solution, human readable, 133 bytes in size, not executable. So they are going to give you an explanation here on why this is it actually. So you can see here, find -in here -type file, 133 bytes is what is specifying this size here, not executable, -readable, and not. This is actually not executable. And you can see here it gives us this file. So I want you to check out this write-up and try to use this write-up to actually find your way through. Because there's actually a full course if you want to like learn Linux. there's actually a full course to do that. You see that we have more here. So there's actually a full course to do that. So I will want you to actually try to read this, try to understand, and then from there we can actually move. So the next thing I want to cover in the line is because I cannot cover all those bandit labs. If I want to cover all those bandit labs, I actually take time because I wouldn't want to use the write-up. I've actually solved it without using write-ups. So I wouldn't want to cover it like that much, and we still have a lot of stuff to do. So in the past week, we have talked about introduction to ethical hacking, what is cybersecurity, actors and their motive, types of hackers, types of testing, that's blue, black, white, the phase of hacking, and then we moved to week 2 where we talked about Linux. That's usually what I'm trying to talk about here. Linux, and like I said, if you actually take these 3 rooms, like fundamentals 1, 2, and 3, you should be fine. Actually, like you should be very, very fine. So the next thing to do is footprinting and scanning. This is the next thing I want us to talk about. So if you have any questions on Linux, I want you to actually bring it up for me here. Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, like, the Linux, the levels that we just learned now, is just something that we have to practice, not something that.
No, no, you have to practice it exactly. You don't need to do anything, just practice.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
at some point I was getting lost, but I just know that we
yeah,
just have to.
practice. That's why I give that write up. If you can follow up this write up I gave here, there are other write ups if you want to, like, there are other write ups that break it down for you. This one is an hyperlink. Bandit level 0 takes you to the level 0 page.
Okay,
Let me
you
see.
dropped it in the group.
Yeah, I've dropped it on the group.
Okay.
Bandit level 0. Let me see, level 0 to 1. Takes us back to okay. So you can see that this one actually covers more, tells you more, break it down to level 33. Yeah. Man actually stopped. He just started dumping the password. Okay. So I think he solved it up to level 24 to 25, which is actually great stuff. So what we can do now is I'll copy this one also in case you are not satisfied with this one. It's still the same thing with what you have here. It's still the same thing. So, and they also have the password for each level here. Okay. So it's actually 3 here. But let me try as much as possible to explain what footprinting and reconnaissance is. So I've explained, let me see, footprinting. I think I've explained it. Let me see. No. Okay, I've almost talked about it here. But let me just try to come against it again. So footprinting, easy cancel. So when we talk about footprinting, like, this is where things get more practical because we'll be practicalizing most of what we are doing now more. So when we talk about footprinting, we're talking about extracting data, not just data, but any form of data we can actually find from public internet using tools, using configuration files, users, and stuff like that. Literally, it's just as if we're gathering data. And there are two forms of gathering data. We have active, we have passive. The active step is where things get really loud. What do I mean by loud? That means the specified targets that we are actually trying to gather data or intel on will actually know that we are performing that action. It's not quiet, it's really, really noisy. But for passive, the person we are trying to gather data from knows that, yeah, I mean, the person we're trying to gather data from does not have any idea that we're doing anything. That's for passive. And like I said, active and passive are not actually the same thing. Like they don't flow on the same thing. It's not as if you want to perform this action, it has an alternative in passive. No. When you are performing an active scan, it's like you want to get more information. A passive scan is like you want to get less information. That is actually the disadvantages and advantages. The passive scan, you won't really get much information than like the active scan. For example, the passive scan, you might only get web technologies like what does the website use, JavaScript, PHP, what is there a firewall there? Do they have any form of subdomains? Those are what we call passive scanning. When it comes to active, we are trying to find users. Those are stuff that make a really, really lot of noise. We are trying to find vulnerabilities. We are trying to find accounts. We are trying to find configuration files and stuff like that. So according to EC Council they are really like they are a very great industry in the field of cybersecurity. So they said there that footprinting involves gathering information about a target typically related to its network infrastructure, systems and users. Okay, systems and users without actually committing an attack. So footprinting can be performed manually or using automated tools. It may involve scanning for open ports, identifying user accounts, and mapping network topologies. So you can see by understanding the layout of the target infrastructure, attackers can identify potential vulnerabilities that may be exploitable. Additionally, by gathering information about users, including usernames and passwords, attackers can access sensitive data or even take over user accounts for malicious purposes. So footprinting is a very important step in penetration testing. It's the first step you must actually take after scanning. So you can see what I said here, types of footprinting. We have passive footprinting, which involves collecting data without actively engaging with the target system. Under this approach, information is collected through crawling websites and social media platforms, among other methods. For example, tools like TCP dump and Wireshark can be used to capture packets sent and received by the target system. While active footprinting involves interacting with the target system to gather information, and this can be done manually or by using automated tools like Nmap and Nessus. And active footprinting is more intrusive, like they said, and can potentially cause harm to the target system, and that's true. If you are running a particular scan and maybe that server cannot actually hold the scan, like it does not have because most of this active scanning involves you sending multiple packets. Just imagine as a human being now, if you want to go to a website now, let's say you want to go to google.com, you just type google.com once and it's not literally that fast. Even if you must open 10 tabs at once and type in google.com, it will take you at least let's say at least a minute for you to type google.com in like 10 tabs, depending on how fast you are typing and all of that. But when it comes to computers, when it comes to active information gathering, they can actually send 500 million requests, like 500 million requests in just that 1 minute that you actually talked about. So when you are sending 10 different .com requests to a particular server, these machines or whatever tools you are using can actually send like 5 million requests to that server at once. And trust me, it might actually bring down the server if they are not able to handle the request. So, what information is collected in footprinting? Like we said earlier, it's just network topology, operating systems and applications. That does this particular target use Windows? Does this particular target use Linux? We collect web servers also and all of that. So, steps in footprinting. We'll talk about all this in our next class. We also have scanning. I mean, information gathering. Yeah, scanning. I think so. Reconnaissance. So we also have reconnaissance, and reconnaissance is actually from Chicks for Chicks. So when we talk about reconnaissance, you can see reconnaissance pen test helps in determining an organization's information on internet. Literally, this one just focuses on internet based.
Which bank do you use?
What information can you gather from this particular target on social media? What particular information has the developer or has the management left in the outside unknown to them? That is what we are trying to find in the reconnaissance phase. We are trying to gather any information that will give us lead outside of their company. No active form of information gathering here. We are just passively looking for information or details that might actually
don't calm me down, so
the system.
use the energy take away.
So target might be a particular host or organization. That's one thing. You don't have a specific target in pen testing. They might actually give you an IP address, they might give you a domain name, they might give you a name server, whatever. Your deal is to just run a pen test. So pen tester can play out similar assaults as an assailant. Pen tester should attempt all potential manners by which to accumulate however much data as could be expected so as to guarantee most extreme extent of footprinting pen testing. So footprinting pen testing helps the organization to forestall data spillage. Like I said, when we talk about forestalling data spillage, we are talking about data that might have been leaked out there by mistake. So it could be any form of data. It could be any form. It could be passwords, it could be usernames, it could be company receipts, it could be employee names, it could be company files and all of that might actually be outside there. So it could actually forestall social engineering and reverse. Social engineering is like when an attacker or a malicious hacker actually pose as a company which they are not. So imagine me posting as Google now, right? That means I'm going to create a website like Google's website, and instead of actually adding like two O's, that's GOOGLE, I can actually make my own like GOOGLE, and then the interface is going to be exactly like Google. So then I can actually, that's what social engineering is. I can actually then like send my own website to a lot of people and start collecting information, using it to access confidential information that even Google themselves might not actually ask for. It also forestall DNS record recovery from openly accessible systems. So we'll talk about this DNS record because there's an attack vector specified for it only. So reconnaissance pen testing steps, you can see get proper authorization. This is a very important step. You must have proper authorization from whoever you are running a pen test for. Whoever you teach you are running a pen test for, you must have proper authorization saying you can actually do this, you can actually do that. So extent of evaluation, how deep should you go? Perform reconnaissance through web architectures. These are Google, Google Finance, Google Alert, Netcraft. These are all like web tools that we'll cover in our next class. Then perform reconnaissance through web crawlers. Web crawlers are just like search engines. Yandex, Google, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, Bing, and like that. perform site reconnaissance, we'll talk about all these, performing reconnaissance down to that. So generally, like I said, when it comes to footprinting, we are running an active and passive scan. But when it comes to reconnaissance, we are looking for information that might have been leaked out on the internet, maybe by mistake or by management, or somehow some files that weren't meant to be leaked off the company find their way to the internet. So is there any question on that? If you have any questions, please let me just know so I can refer. Tell you how to go about it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the passive and active information gathering tools is where we'll talk about the practical approach. And I think our next class is actually tomorrow because I have another class by 4. So passive and active information gathering, we'll talk about the step which we saw in footprint end. We use various tools and techniques on how to gather this information both actively and passively. So yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining the class. So if you have any question, go ahead and just paste it on the group. And also don't forget to actually read this. Don't forget to actually take fundamentals part 1, fundamentals part 2, and fundamentals part 3, please. Thank you very much.